Hey guys, Adam here, and in this lesson I want to talk about how many unique players you should be setting in your lineups. And a lot of it depends. A lot of people say like it depends on the type of player you are and stuff. I set the same amount of uniques, I think, every week, and I want to be different. I want to be flexible in the number of unique players I set this year. I think I set five every week last year, and I want to make myself more flexible. And the reason why was because there were a few weeks where I got lots of things right. I got my stacks right, and I got one-off running backs right. Like I had tons of exposure to certain running backs that popped off like I expected. Like I just got lots of things right and still lost like on the week, which is incredibly maddening if you've ever been in that spot. And so let's do a little bit of prophecy here. And let's just say this is week 1, 2022. Let's just say the winning stack was a Mahomes stack, which I've locked Mahomes. And let's say it was a double stack with Kelsey, who you can see I've locked there, and Juju. They both popped off. Mahomes threw, 6 touchdowns, something crazy. And then let's say I run it back with someone in Arizona, and that person was Marquise Brown. Let's say Marquise Brown also had a big game. The typical reason why you do a double stack with a bring back, just your style or whatever. So I lock these players in, and let's see what happens. And then I run a crunch, and you can see 100% of my lineups. I'm only doing like 50 here. Let's just say 50 of my 150 lineups that I crunched had these 4 players in it. You're thinking, man, I should have done really. I have lots of chances to really win. Well, let's just say I set my uniques in this situation to 5 with this combination, and you'll actually see I can't even get a full 50 crunches out of this. And this is what I think is really important. So in your stack, you have 4 players, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you set your uniques to 5, what you're saying is, I can only allow that player, a player, to be in the lineup with this stack one time. And you see that in the 24 lineups, because it ran out of people. In the 24 lineups, the next highest exposed person is, well, they're all ones. And that's simply because I've set my uniques to 5. Meaning, so what this means is let's say I guessed right on Saquon Barkley. Let's say I said Saquon Barkley is going to have a really big game. And let's even just say I, projected the nuts and he scored like 50 points, something crazy, right? Even if I set Saquon to 50 with this stack, Saquon is only going to appear. Let's see if I can find him here. Saquon only appeared once. And it wasn't a lack of projection. It was because I limited him in that stack. And this is really important. So if I change this uniques to 4, what I've allowed then is I've allowed Saquon to be rotated in more. Saquon can be in every lineup with these guys as long as everyone else is different. And so, for instance, if I run this crunch, if he projects at 50, I think he's going to show up 100% of the time. That's probably crazy. He didn't even show up 100% of the time. He showed up a lot, though. And you'll see it. But if I set 4 uniques, I immediately am allowing myself in a 4-player stack, quarterback, 2 of his pass catchers, 1 bring back. I'm allowing other plays that I think are good plays to filter themselves in with the same amount of percentage. This is a really important concept. And I think it's really important depending on the slate, because your entire lineup construction and how you think about unique players is going to be very different depending on how the slate shapes up. If there are like a couple of low salary running backs who are just going to smash like they're projected and you just can't get away from them, that really changes how many uniques you should be setting. Especially when you're doing, obviously you should be stacking. And so we really need to be thinking about, based on the slate, how many unique players you want. For instance, in week 1, if there's no smash play at running back or there's never a smash play at wide receiver. If there's a smash play at running back, or there's no smash play at running back, I actually am thinking about running with 5 and never allowing any of my stacks to have any person replicated more than once. Just because there's so much variance in week 1 that you don't know, and it might actually end up being a good thing because you get exposure to different combinations. But it really depends. What I'm saying is it really depends on the slate. And so that's how I'm thinking about potentially adjusting my uniques based on the slate and understanding that how many uniques I set really changes the structure or composition of my lineups, especially when it comes to like 4-man stacks.